Claire Carter at breakfast. BBC.
Radio Somerset.
Thank you for messages on voicemails. I will get to those in a few moments' time. But first, during the pandemic, we know that Somerset's village agents, they were dishing out an incredible amount of advice and support online, or of course over the phone as everything changed. But now, as COVID restrictions are lifting, you can finally book to go along to one of Somerset's village agents' talking cafes in person again. And I know that this will help so many people. You can get advice and support on all sorts of issues while you're there. Or it's just about popping in and maybe having a cup of tea and a chat with somebody. James Craig has been along to one of the first face-to-face cafes in Bridgwater.
Well, here at the top of Angel Place Shopping Centre in Bridgwater is the hub. It's used by lots of community groups, and today it is the site for the Talking Cafe. And the cafe are really, really happy because they can finally welcome back people face to face. Things are a bit different because of the pandemic. People can only book by an appointment. But for Lauren Giddins, who runs the Bridgwater Cafe, it's a big, big step.
It's so much easier to get to the root of issues when you're sat across the table from someone and there isn't that barrier of the telephone, and people are much more open and honest about the things that they're struggling with. You're able to solve these issues and give them solutions right there and then, so that they're not waiting and things aren't getting worse.
And are you concerned that for some of those people who might be dealing with a number of different things all at the same time, that the pandemic might have made things worse for them, and that actually this might be the first time they're coming forward to ask for help?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the pandemic made people deal with the issues that were the most present. So they were asking for help with getting their medication or getting food, the real essentials, but they probably weren't dealing with the longer term issues like financial hardship or loneliness and isolation. So those issues have definitely been exacerbated by the pandemic. And now that we're starting to get to see people face to face, it's a case of really unpicking what's been going on for people and where they want to move towards in the future.
Now, the Talking Cafe has a lot of regulars who've been coming here for several years. One of them is Mark Smith from Bridgwater. Mark has mild learning disabilities and says the group's been a huge support to him.
It means to me to get out of my flat where I live so I don't get a bit bored and stuff. It makes me more happier to speak out to friends who I knew here for a long time.
Did you miss not being able to come here to the Talking Cafe?
Yes, I couldn't see all my friends at all. The last time I saw Anne-Marie here, it was like Christmas time, and that was it.
It seems like you know everyone here, it looks like. Quite the character at the Bridgwater Talking Cafe.
I am, and I'm a bit of a laugh, so I help people. We need to work as a team in the community.
There are people who are coming here today for the first time as well. Julie has come along for an appointment with her elderly mother. Her stepfather was recently taken into hospital, and the family have found themselves for the first time needing more help and not knowing where to turn.
Oh, it's been very informative this morning. In an hour, we found out about getting assessment of needs. We found out about community transport. My mum has always got herself to hospital appointments, even though she's severely partially sighted. If my stepdad would take her, or if he couldn't take her, she's managed on the bus. But it's not easy, and we found out about services she can access that she never even knew was available. Does it feel like a bit of a weight off to actually have some of this information now? Yes, it's a great weight off. We have, when he does come home from hospital, we have names now of people that my mum can contact. The village agent for her area, someone that she can phone and say, right, what do I do now with this? I need a bit of help, or I don't, this has happened. So we've got that contact. Well, it isn't just here in Bridgwater that the Talking Cafes are restarting in person now. There'll be cafes taking place all over the county. Brigitte Kuipers from CCS is in charge of the Talking Cafes across Somerset. Some of the venues are indoor, so how are you sort of ensuring that everything is secure from a COVID point of view?
Okay, so we're very, very secure. People can only come until restrictions are further lifted, by appointment only. At the moment we can't actually have it as a casual drop-in, but obviously we're hoping that we can get back to that as soon as we can.
People are still nervous, I think, aren't they? For you, why is it important that these cafes are happening across Somerset?
The Talking Cafe is not only just a place where you can go and find support or questions, that you may have. It's more than that. It's a social aspect as well. People start to rely on that. They come here, they have a friendly face, they get that advice, but they also can come and have a laugh. What's missing is that hub, that heart of the community. So anybody, doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your creed, your background, everybody's welcome. And that's what's so important for us.
It's been a long wait, but across Somerset, talking cafes have finally started taking place again, in person. They're designed to be a one-stop shop for advice and help with anything from debt and housing to loneliness and mental health problems, as well as just a good place to have a cuppa and a chat. Brigitte Kuipers from Community Council for Somerset is in charge of the Talking Cafes project, and Brigitte says the pandemic's had a big impact on them.
There seems to be a definite increase in isolation-related issues. That could be ranging from mental health to debt as well. We get a lot of those questions, housing. Because so much has been put on hold, I think a lot of people now are starting to realise things that have been put off, or perhaps, grants that have been given. Now that's kind of stopping, that support financially. So we're getting an awful lot of people coming in to look at their debt issues, to see where the benefits are going to go, what can they apply for. Work is another thing. We get a lot of questions surrounding that. So a lot of people are coming to say, well, who's going to help me? Where can I turn? What can I do? So our agents are working very, very hard to make sure that those gaps are filled where they can.
Well, your reporter James Craig has been along to one of the first talking cafes in Bridgwater where people were allowed to meet face to face. And one of those who turned up was Julie, who was looking for some support for her elderly mother after her stepfather was recently taken into hospital.
They've been fully independent all their lives and look after each other. They've been shielding. I've supported them during that. But the situation now is that my stepdad is in hospital and we need support for when he comes home. And without knowing what was out there, we've come today to find out what we can do.
How's it gone? And have you been able to find that support and the information you were looking for?
Oh, it's been very informative this morning. In an hour, we found out about getting assessment of needs. We found out about community transport. My mum has always got herself to hospital appointments, even though she's severely partially sighted. If my stepdad would take her, or if he couldn't take her, she's managed on the bus. But it's not easy, and we found out about services she can access that she never even knew was available.
You didn't know any of this support was available before today?
Yeah, no, we didn't know before today that this was here. So yes, this has been great. My mum doesn't have access to the internet. I do, but didn't realise what was out there because I didn't know where to start, really.
That's often the first point, isn't it? And I guess that's partly the point of these cafes. It is a starting point and they can point you in the right direction. Does it feel like a bit of a weight off to actually have some of this information now?
Yes, it's a great weight off. We have, when he does come home from hospital, we have names now of people that my mum can contact who are there to offer her information. The village agent for her area, someone that she can phone and say, right, what do I do now with this? I need a bit of help, or I don't, this has happened. So we've got that contact.
It just makes what is going to be a really difficult time, and hopefully it makes it that little bit easier for the whole family.
Yes, like I said before, I work. I have a young adult who's at home. Well, we'll be at home for the summer, so it's all a worrying time to know, if appointments come up, or just being there if you need me. I know now that my mum has that support. She's very independent. She'll be able to do that herself. She'll be able to get that help.
Lots of people as well cope amazingly well on their own and have done for so many years until sort of something goes wrong or something happens, and that seems like the situation that your mum has maybe found themselves in.
Yeah, definitely, because she is a remarkable lady.
I just wish Julie all the best and her family. going forward. Julie, one of the people who has been along to the Talking Cafe in Bridgwater, speaking there with James Craig about her mum, their situation. If you're interested in going, and I mean, it doesn't have to be a problem similar to Julie's. I mean, you know, they're there for numerous reasons. One of Somerset's Talking Cafes, they are now back happening in person again, but you do need to book an appointment. I would assume that's to manage social distancing and just to make sure things are running as smoothly and safely as possible. There's more information on the Community Council for Somerset website, which is ccslovesomerset.org. There we go, ccslovesomerset.org. So that's the website. There is a phone number. Okay, so for the Talking Cafes, the phone number 01823 331 222. 01823 331 222.